I have spent the last couple of weeks out here at my industrial zone building redstone farms and contraptions in order to facilitate this episode. And I have spent a lot of time out here, AFK as well, getting them all operational to the point that this witch farm, is overflowing with redstone. I've got so much redstone now, it's kind of unbelievable. I never thought I'd say this, but I might have too much. This might be more redstone than I have ever had ever. Like there's a full there's a full double chest here. There's another full double chest here. There's half a chest here with some more. I've got a full shulker box here. We've got some more in my redstone box here. There's another one down here. This thing is just kicking out so much redstone, and I'm running low on gunpowder because, well, people keep coming over and stealing it, but also, like, I have been using it as well to make rockets and TNT and things and stuff as well. So I keep having to AFK to get more gunpowder, and I'm ending up with just gargantuan amounts of redstone, which I mean, it's a good problem to have, don't get me wrong. It's just, I think I might need to put a shulker box loader or something onto here. Or alternatively, I guess I could make a creeper farm as well, so I can get my redstone or my gunpowder that way, because, yeah, everything else here is kind of overflowing, or very close to overflowing as well. It's fine. It's fine. Good problem to have. But like I said, I have been making some other redstone type contraptions and buildings and farms, including we've got a very small cactus farm, which is just throwing out some green dye here. That's just fueled with the sticks from the witch farm. I have also built myself a moss farm here. This is I can't remember where I got the design from for this one from. It might have been Wattles. I can't remember. I've used it several times for a long time, so yeah, I've just adapted it slightly here and there, but just to get some bone meal basically. Also, we've got a little bit of a honey farm, which is not the most. Give me this. I want this. This is mine. I earned it. Not the most efficient thing in the world, and it's not kicking out a huge amount of honey, but it's fulfilling my needs anyway. And I can get my wax and things from that as well. I also have, we've got some this stuff, cocoa beans from the brown dye, and I've got a 2-tool flour thingy here kicking out that stuff for that, obviously fueled by the bone meal here. We've also got this guy here for the lilies, these guys, the blue orchids. Yeah, so definitely getting all the dye, but I've also got this bad boy up here, which, oh boy, is this fun. This is a concrete exploder maker, concretatron. This make go boom boom. El Mango Pixels concretificator. So yeah, we just fill concrete powder in here, automatically turns it into concrete. The pistons push it across, and then the TNT duper here explodes it, and I can make lots of concrete really fast. Because you might notice, I like to put my redstone on concrete, and we're going to be doing a lot of redstone in this video. And before I forget, hello my friends, this is Ian, aka Malice, and welcome back to Minecraft. So if you can't tell from the farms that I've been making, I've been trying to get hold of as many of the different dyes as possible. And the easiest way to do that is with the flowers. And you can get a lot of different dye colors from these flower forests. It's very handy. But it can be a little bit tricky to know exactly where the flowers are going to spawn. In particular, these guys, the blue cornflower. They are somewhat rare, and you don't end up, even if I could make a flower farm right here and I could guarantee that I'd get some, but it wouldn't be a lot. You see, the flowers in this game spawn in a grid, and they will generally always spawn in the same kind of location. So in this area, I would know I would get these different types of flowers, for example. But finding the exact places where you get a lot of them can be a little tricky. Thankfully, I was doing some digging around on Modrinth, where you can get your different mods from Minecraft, and I discovered one. I discovered one which doesn't have really does not have a huge amount of downloads. And if I press F8, you can see I get a funky, very trippy, hypnotic map up in the top there. And it's basically showing where all the different flowers will spawn. So I can stand here and you can see my little arrow, my little pointer up there is in a red section. That's where these red tulips will grow. Say over here, no, not over there, over here. You can see the purple, that's where the purple flowers grow. And you can see as I'm going up and down the y-axis, it's changing. That is because, as I say, there's like a grid pattern, like a specific pattern that flowers kind of grow in. And you can find areas in Flower Forest, you can see where we're getting the blues coming up. Those are areas that the cornflowers are going to grow. So I built a flower farm right here in the middle of this big blue section, and this is getting me just an absolute ton of those blue flowers. Now, obviously, I could use lapis, but I'd rather not be mining constantly for lapis. But, you know, lots of blue dye. We've got the light blue dye over there, and then there's others. I'll put a link to this this mod in the description of the episode, because I think it's a really, really well done mod. Like, there's a key that you can bring up in the options as well, so you can see what all the different flowers are. You can see, like here flying over this, you can see there's loads of yellow, red, and blue dots changing as I'm flying through. I can keep going out this way, and eventually you'll see, okay, so just in this area, we're just going to get the red and yellow flowers. And over, if we get over to the swamp, eventually, you'll see we just get the light blue flowers. Really, really handy mod for visualizing exactly what flowers and dyes and stuff you're going to get at any good point. So yeah, I've been looking for a mod that does that for a long time, and that one has fulfilled that finally, which is fantastic. Anyway, I've done enough talking now, so let's go back to the base, and we're going to discuss a little bit. We're going to discuss, first of all, some of the plans for the base, specific ideas and functionality of the base and how it's going to work and the stuff that I'm going to need to try and figure out. And then I have, well, I got a pretty major redstone contraption to build, and I'll try and talk you through exactly how it works. Yeah, that's going to be this episode. Lots of redstone. So I discussed briefly in the last, or in episode 2 of this series, exactly what my plans for this base are going to be. But to kind of reiterate it for anybody who maybe missed that, or maybe you're joining the series a little later, what my plans are to basically make an homage to Croft Manor, particularly Croft Manor from Tomb Raider Legend, which was probably one of my favorites of the Tomb Raider series. In that version of Croft Manor, it was essentially like a trophy hunt. You could unlock different trophies by completing different trials and challenges and puzzles within the mansion. And I kind of want to have that vibe with this base and make sort of the same kind of thing. So it's going to be a big manor house with various puzzles and challenges and trials for you to complete and unlock all the different trophies or awards. I think I'm going to call them awards for this. And for that, it's going to require a lot of redstone, hence the reason we dug out this big pit. And I also need to have some idea of exactly what those awards are going to be so that the redstone is built with that in mind and is able to handle it. And the awards are also going to... they're going to help control the redstone. I'll explain exactly what I mean by that in a second. But for those awards, I'm going to split them up into 4 different tiers. The first one being copper. So these are going to be very common. There's going to be 12 of these in the manor. And you'll be able to get these essentially by... They're not going to be difficult to get. You're not going to have to complete too hard a challenge. In fact, they may just be for entering a new area in the mansion. Congratulations, you found the library. Have an award, a copper award. And that's what these are going to be. And they're going to be very important when it comes to the redstone later. So that's the first set of awards that you're going to get. The second is going to be the gold awards. Now, these are going to be a little bit more challenging for the player to get. They're going to involve completing a small challenge or a small puzzle, maybe a little bit of parkour, something like that. And that's going to be, yeah, a little bit more challenging to complete. Then there's going to be 8 of those. The next one is going to be the Diamond Award. Now, these ones are going to be much more challenging. These are going to be involving completing a much more difficult challenge. They're going to require really exploring the mansion and getting to know its layout a bit better. And there's going to be 6 of these. And then there's going to be one more award, which is going to be... hold on one second. And the final one is going to be Netherite. And there's only going to be one of this award. And that is going to be saved for, well, what I'm referring to as beating the house. You're not going to have to complete all of the other awards, but you're going to have to have completed some of them. And you're going to have very, very good knowledge of the house by the end of it. Ignore the sudden lack of levels. That's totally unrelated. Oh, God damn it! So one of the main features beyond the awards that I want this house to have is a save and load feature. Obviously, I am playing on a multiplayer server. There's a few people who play, and I imagine most of them are going to want to have a go at this once it's complete. And it's not going to be possible for them to complete it all in one go, I wouldn't imagine. So they're going to need to be able to save and load the house into various different states depending on what they've already achieved. I don't want to have to start at the beginning in order to go through if they're aiming to get like all of the awards. They shouldn't have to do it all in one sitting, which is why I want it to be able to have a save and load feature. It also needs to be able to handle the distribution of these awards throughout their game, so it knows exactly where they are and how they're progressing and what awards they've actually achieved. So this first piece of redstone that I'm going to be making in this thing is going to be kind of what I'm referring to as the awards processor, and it's going to be kind of the brain of the whole house. It's going to handle both distributing the awards to the player and the save load function of the game itself. And for that, I've spent, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, a little while collecting an awful lot of resources to make this redstone contraption. It's going to take a whole ton of time. It's not a small beast, and when it's done, I'll try and explain to you how it works and what it all does. I'm not going to bring you along for the build. I might time-lapse it a little bit, but yeah, this is going to be a big chunk of redstone, and hopefully I'll be able to explain it to you how it all works at the end of it. But yeah, I'm going to get on with that now. And you guys can sit back and relax to some relaxing music as I do redstone. Okay. So the redstone is all complete. You can see it's all over there. And I'm going to discuss exactly what all that nonsense is in a second. But first of all, I realized there's something that I forgot to discuss with you when we were over here looking at these. So I mentioned that we had 4 different tiers of awards. We have the 12 copper ones, we have the 8 gold ones, 6 diamond ones, and 1 netherite. But I didn't go on any further than that and explain why I've arrived at those numbers. And that's simple enough. We're going to use shulker boxes, or a shulker box, to do the saving and the loading of the house. And 27 is the number of spaces that we have in a shulker box, which kind of means that we can only have up to 27 different awards. And you can see I've kind of got some placeholders in this one just to kind of demonstrate the redstone in a moment. But there is a problem with all this. If I've got 27 different awards, that means that there are going to be approximately 27 different sets of redstone components or redstone modules within the game in order to control each of the different awards, and that would mean that the processor would have to handle 27 different separate redstone line coming out of it to load the game, and then another 27 separate redstone lines going back into it in order to control the distribution of the awards and the saving of the game, which would mean that there is like a minimum of 54 separate redstone lines going in, and that sounds like a whole bunch of spaghetti nonsense. So we need a way of kind of bringing those down and that number down to a more reasonable number, and thankfully there is such a reasonable thing in existence, and that is called binary. Okay, I've tried a few times to explain this. I'm going to try again because it's complicated and my words keep escaping in the wrong order. Let me try again. We have a house which is going to be sending out 27 different signals and going to be receiving 27 different signals. That's up to 54 separate redstone lines, and that's too many redstone lines to be sending around individually. So instead, I've kind of compressed those 27 down into this binary system here. So we've got 5 lines of binary here. That's up to 32 different signals that we can have. Second, this up here, this is a binary encoder. So you can see where we've got these observers and the white concrete. That is showing how we're going to be encoding that binary. So you can see over here we've got a line for award 1 coming through here. That's going to activate this rail here and activate this observer, which is going to make output a active signal on that rail, so we know that is 1 0 0 0 0, or in binary 1. Yeah, so 1 0 0 0 0. Then the next line for award 2 is going to be here, so we've got 0 1 0 0 0, and then line 3 is 1 1 0 0 0, and then 0 0 1 0 0 for line 4, and so on and so forth, all the way down the line up to number 27, which is our netherite award at the end there. So I hope that makes sense. This binary encoder, it sends signal out this way. But how do we get the signal into this in the first place? That is with using the shulker box, as I showed you earlier. So here's a shulker box. It's got kind of all the awards in a kind of a randomized order, because there's no way of me controlling what order they're going to be in that shulker box, because that's going to be up to the player. And what order they kind of collect them from in the house, and whether they take them out of the box and place them back in. Maybe they want to display them somewhere. I don't know. Either way, when they come back, when they return to the game to continue their run, they're going to want to load up the house into the position that it was when they left off. And they're going to do that by taking their shulker box and placing it into the system in a building up here, like little start room thing. So they put their shulker box in. It's going to come into this shulker box unloader here. I'm going to kind of run down the theory of how this works before I demonstrate it in action, just so you know what you're looking out for the whole time. So I will put the shulker box in here. It's going to start unloading them, and it's going to go through this sorter array here. This is just your bog standard item sorters here. Each one is set up for a different one of the awards. When it detects one of those awards, it's going to send a signal through this line and out into this NOR latch, activating this piston, pushing down this redstone block, and turning on a repeater for each of the awards all the way down the line. We need to stop the signal there and load it into this. This is essentially a memory system here. We're loading that shulker box into memory. And the reason we want to do that is if we were to take those signals straight from the item sorter and put them straight into the encoder, there's a good chance, a high chance, that two items are going to hit the item sorter at the same time, get sorted at the same time, and send their signal through to the encoder at the same time, and we'll just get a mess out this side. So we want to kind of load them into the memory system and then activate them one at a time so we get a nice clean signal out here. So when the shulker box has finished unloading and the majority of the items have gone through this system here, it's going to send a signal down this line and activate this flying machine, which is going to go down this whole line, pushing up this block and allowing the signal from the NOR latch through into the encoder. And that is going to give us a nice clean signal out this side. And that signal can then go off around the house to turn on and off the different modules around the place. We also have this system over here, and this is just basically for feedback for the player. So they're able to see what has been loaded from their shulker box, and they can see for certain that all the awards that they were expecting to load have been loaded, and the house is set up to exactly what they're expecting. And obviously, I'm talking about all these redstone systems over there that don't exist yet, and a house that doesn't exist. This is all theoretical at the moment, but it should work. It should be fine. Anyway, let's test it, shall we? Let's demonstrate it, put it into process. So I'm going to put this shulker box into this system, and then when I go into FreeCam, you'll see it's going to start unloading it and activating various different memory cells. If I come over here, you'll see as it goes, eventually that shulker box will break, and you can see the flying machine is going down the line and sending through a redstone signal one at a time. Nice clean signal for each of the awards is coming out here, and you can see it's basically counting up in binary one by one. So all the way, there we go, that's 16, 17, 18, we'll have 19, 20, 21. You can see these lines over here are activating as it's loading them in. This is all feedback for the player, so they can see everything has loaded in. That is the game ready to go. You see this line of NOR latches has reset at the end, and the flying machine is now on its way back. So once everything has now loaded, so now that everything has loaded and NOR latches have reset, the shulker box that was broken up there has been sent down a line here. Oh, it's been sent down this line here and put into this shulker box loader here. And all the items that got sorted out have come down through these hoppers and have also been placed back into the shulker box, so that when the player is ready to finish their run, everything is ready for them to be returned to them. So they've got their save game and all their awards that they've achieved ready to be collected at the beginning of the game. Okay, so that is how this system is going to be handling and loading the house, and how we're going to use a shulker box which has the awards that somebody has already completed in order to load up the various systems of the house. But let's say we've got a player who is a new player and they haven't got any awards yet, and instead we're going to be distributing awards to them and essentially creating their save file. So that's going to work slightly differently. First of all, when they start the house, actually get into the right position. We're going to send an empty shulker box into this same system. So this is an empty shulker box this time. We put it into this same system as the last one was in. That drops through, and we should see that load into that shulker box loader down there. Then as they're going through the house, they're going to be activating various redstone lines, and when they complete a challenge or a puzzle or whatever, we're going to send a binary system back into this processor, and this on the bottom here is a binary decoder. It's a little bit more. This is the encoder on top. That looks quite simple. This is the decoder underneath. And yeah, I'm not going to go through trying to explain exactly how this works because yeah, there's a lot of it. But essentially, each of these observers is set up to only allow a signal all the way through to these pistons if it matches the binary signal coming in, and then we've got cauldrons down here to send through a signal from the comparator, and yada yada yada. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on here. I'll try and link the video that I found these encoders and decoders in the description if I'm able. Otherwise, I'll put a link to the creator. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but I will do that thing. Anyway, when a signal comes through here, whatever that signal may be, is going to come through and light up one of these lamps, depending on which signal it is. And at the same time, it's going to activate one of these dispensers down here. Each of these dispensers contains one of the awards. So depending which line you activate, depends which award is going to be dropped out of the system, and that's going to come through this ice path through down here, and that is going to load into your shulker box. So that's nice and simple how that saving works. And then the signal is going to continue through into these honey and slime block lines across here, which is going to activate one of these NOR latches, and this comes back into the player feedback system here. So we'll get an active bulb here depending on which award the player's activated. Okay, so that is the theory. Let's see if we can do a live demonstration of this section as well. So let's program in, I think, 4 different, let's go 5 different awards. So we'll start with this one, do random ones. So let's do that one. We should see number 4. Yep, that one goes up. And then over here, we have an output for the player feedback. So that's 1. Let's do another few as well. So that one, do that one, do that. We should see another line go down there. There we go. That one goes. And then we should have another one up here. So that's 2. Fantastic. Let's do another one. Let's just fill in these. There we go. So there's another binary line gone through. There's another one gone up. And we've got another lamp turned on over there. That's all working. Let's do another one. Let's get rid of this. Clear the whole lot. And we can put in, let's say, this one. We should see that one go up. Fantastic. And then another one up here. So we've got, that's 4 now gone through the system. And then we want, let's do one more. And let's make it that. Yeah, that looks good. Let's do that. And we should see a line go up over there. Yep, that slime block went up, and we've got 5 outputs on the player feedback. And now when we go and check the shulker box, so let's just check around the corner here, and there is our shulker box. We break this and give it to me, and we place down. We should have 5 awards with 5 awards have been loaded in, and those are the ones that we selected. Fantastic. Hopefully I was able to demonstrate this nonsense to you enough for you to understand. I realized that was a lot of technical stuff and a lot of me speaking, and hopefully it all made sense of how the system works and why I need it. There is one more thing, a problem with this whole system, this whole concept, which I need to address. I'm going to talk about that just quickly now, and that is the redstone simulation distance. Redstone only gets simulated a certain distance away from the player, so not only have you got the limit of it traveling 15 blocks from a source and needing to be repeated, it has this simulation distance as well. Hi Skeleton, you stay over there. If I start this line up, you can see all the redstone lights turn on all the way down the line, except for the last 6. That is where the redstone simulation distance ends. That means that any signals that I send out from this thing are going to get to about where that redstone lamp is there, and then not travel any further. So I need to find a way of loading in that whole area over there. Now, if I turn this off and fly down there, you'll see those lights do turn on, those 6. But yeah, that's not a reliable way of getting that redstone signal out there. So I think I'm going to have to use chunk loaders. A chunk loader, if I turn on the grids and go into FreeCam, a chunk loader is a system that loads chunks, and I think it will load the chunk that the chunk loader is in, as well as the adjacent chunks. So we'll have 1, 2, 3 by 3. So I'll have these 9 chunks all loaded if I build a chunk loader in here. And as you can see by where I put the other dots, I suspect I'm going to need at least 6 out here. That leaves a line of chunks on the end here which aren't being loaded in. I'm just going to have to be careful with my redstone, I think. I'm going to have to mirror this over on this side as well, because if the player is out here and gets an award and the signal gets sent back to the awards processor and it's not loaded in, then that's going to be problematic as well. So that's going to be 12 chunk loaders that I need in this area if I go the chunk loader route. There's another option I might toy with if this doesn't work out. I'm going to have a play with the chunk loader system between this video and the next video. Hopefully that will all be in and ready and sorted by the time I start the next video, and we can start the next episode. Hit the ground running, as it were. But that's going to be it for this video. I hope it's made sense. I know there was a lot of technical speak, a lot of redstone stuff. I did warn you that there was going to be a lot of technical and redstone stuff going on in this episode, but yeah, hopefully you managed to follow it and I made sense. But that remains to be seen, I guess. If you've enjoyed my ramblings, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff over on YouTube, and help this channel grow. And it's also, Christmas has been and gone. It is now New Year in a few days, so it will be 2025 when the next episode comes out. So I hope you all have a fantastic New Year. Live long and prosper, or whatever the saying is. And I will see you in 2025 sometime.